Hi everyone, it's Lisa Mears. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I'm sharing the Stamps of Life Club products for the month of December, and in this video you'll see an unboxing of the club items and my design process for 10 cards that I made with these items. So let's begin with the Stamp Club set and the Die Hard Club set for December of 2022. If you're part of the club, you get a different stamp set and die set every month, and December's set is called Candy Hearts to Stamp. It's perfect for Valentine's Day, and it reminds me of the Conversation Hearts candy that you get on Valentine's Day. There are several different size hearts, including outline hearts that you can color in. There's solid hearts that you can stamp with a colored ink, and there's also some pattern hearts that you can stamp to get a fun pattern. There's also lots of sentiment stamps that you can stamp on top of the hearts to resemble that Conversation Hearts candy. If you're a member of the Stamp Club, you'll get the stamp set, and if you're a member of the Die Hard Club, you will receive the stamp set and the coordinating dies. And this month, the Stamps of Life is giving club members some freebies with their club products, and if you're a Stamp and Die Hard Club member, you will receive a 2023 die with a heart. And it's completely free just for being a club member. So let's go ahead and take a look at the December card kit. This kit is called Sending You Love. Here's an inspiration card that goes along with the kit. So there's some sample projects you can create. And with this card kit this month, you also get a freebie. So here is the freebie for the card kit. It's a 2023 die with a rectangle around it. And every card kit member will get that 2023 rectangle die. But there's also some more good news. This month, the Stamps of Life is throwing in some more freebies. Apparently, they had some extra inventory in their warehouse and they were just trying to get rid of some stuff. So everybody's getting some additional freebies. So I'm sharing with you what I have in my kit. From what I understand, everyone's free products might be different. So I have the small pillow box die. This makes a really cute treat box, perfect for upcoming Valentine's Day. And I also received a pack of dies. It looks like they might be some snowflakes. If you're a member of the Card Kit Club, leave me a comment down below and let everyone know what freebies you got in your kit. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the actual kit content. So we have our envelope that's perfect for cardstock or just holding your kit contents, and that is a plastic envelope. You also get 10 A2 size envelopes for mailing your cards. And the cardstock colors for this month are yellow, blue. There's several different shades of blue. So you can see there's a lighter blue, a darker blue, there's an ocean, which is like a teal, there's a navy blue, purple, red, and then there's 4 sheets of white. So that's the color palette for this month's kit. And let's take a look at the pattern paper pad. This pattern paper is the Sending You Love collection. So pretty. I just love the patterns in this kit, especially all of those conversation hearts. I think they're so cute. You can see the beautiful circle with the heart pattern, and that comes in several different colors. So you can see there is the green, and then you saw the blue. Now this sheet here with all of these little conversation hearts, these can be die cut with the coordinating dies for the month. So if you're a Die Hard Club member, or if you belong to the Gold Club, which is the kit club plus the stamp and the dies, you will get these dies to cut these out. So you can just take these shadow dies for the hearts and just put them right on top of those hearts, add some washi tape to run them through your die cutting machine and cut all of those little hearts out. And since there are 2 sheets of each one of the designs of pattern paper, you do get 2 of those sheets that you can use your dies to die cut out. There is the Sending You Love page that has all of the words on it. Here's a nice bright red with the hearts and circles, and then there's some of the dots. And then there's some more smaller conversation hearts, yellows, and then there's some double hearts there. There's some light purple and some squiggly lines and some stripes. There's some smaller Sending You Love words. And then there's some more of the hearts and some flowers. And then we start back all over again. So again, you get 2 sheets of each of the designs. You also get some heart stickers. So again, that's the same design that was on that pattern paper. It has the dotted circle with the heart in the inside. So you get those stickers in various colors. There's also some felt border strips. There's also some heart enamel stickers in beautiful colors. And then there are some puffy stickers that are conversation hearts. There's some large ones and some small ones. And then there are these beautiful dots. These are stickers, but they're just so pretty. They have a lot of dimension to them. You also get a Sending You Love word die. It has the shadow as well as the word layering piece. And this word die, it looks just like the font that you see here on the paper pad. And just as I thought that was a lot of stuff, you also get this A1 swiper card die set included with this card kit. So this is what the die set looks like. It makes a swiper card, which is an interactive card. You get the card base to actually make the card, and then you get some layering dies as well. And I'm going to show you in my video today how I made a swiper card with this. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But you can see this die right here is the actual card base. And then you have these layering rectangle dies that you can layer on top. There are 2 of them. And then you have the inside piece that makes the actual pop-up, which is the interactive piece. And then you also have a rectangle with some layering hearts that you can add to the side panel of your swiper card. So this is what it would look like when it's put together. And again, I'll show you how to make that swiper card coming up shortly. So if you want it all, the monthly stamp set, the dies, and the card kit, that's called the Gold Club. And with being a gold member, you get some perks, and one of those perks is getting 20% off in the Stamps of Life store on all products they sell. If you join the Stamp Club or the Die Hard Club, you will get 15% off all products in the Stamps of Life store. And by joining any of the clubs, you will also get club points to spend in their shop. Now, if you do decide to join any of the Stamps of Life clubs or upgrade any of the clubs and you click on my link or enter my promo code when joining, you will receive 500 bonus club points, which is a $5 value. My promo code is my name. It's Lisa Mears without spaces. And you can find my Stamps of Life affiliate link in the description box of this video, as well as on my blog at lisamearsdesigns.com. And I always appreciate your support when using my link. So as always, I will have up-close pictures of all of my cards on my blog, as well as card measurements. So if you want to create any of the cards that you see, make sure you hop over there and you'll find that information. So starting out with every card kit, I always like to take the papers from the paper pad that I can die cut with the coordinating dies and die cut these hearts. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut all of these hearts for both pages in the pattern paper pad, and that's going to give me a total of 44 hearts that are already colored and cut for me that I can use on my cards. So now let's get into making our first card, and the first card is going to be a swiper card. So before I put it together, I just want to show you the completed card just so you can get an idea of how it works. So when you move it back and forth, you have this little interactive piece that pops up from the inside and it pops out the top of the card. So you can see the piece that it's in there, and then when you move it, it just pops up and gives you a message, or you can put just a regular die cut picture there and have something pop up just for fun. So to make this card, you're going to take the card base, which is this largest die, and you're going to die cut 2 pieces. And here I use the red cardstock from the kit and die cut 2 pieces. So one will be for the front and one will be for the back. And you can see that the die puts some score lines into the cardstock. So there's actually 2 score lines here. And you're just going to fold at those score lines. And you're going to do that for both of the pieces that you die cut. So I'm just going to take the larger flap and fold that upwards, and then I'm going to take that smaller flap and just fold it down, and I'm going to do that for both pieces of cardstock. So the larger flap will be folded upwards and the smaller flap will be folded downwards. You can see they're both identical. Next, I'm going to set one of those pieces aside, and I'm just going to be working with one at the moment. So now I'm just going to turn that piece over, so I'm looking at the back side, and I'm going to put the front side so it's facing the table, and the back side is actually face up. So when I say the back side, it's actually the piece that's going to be on the inside of the card. Next, I took the small rectangular die and die cut a piece of the yellow cardstock. This die is the small piece that's going to pop up from the inside of the card. And notice it also has a score line, so I'm just folding at that score line. And then I'm going to take that piece and put glue on the top of that little triangle piece. But I'm not going to go past the score line on the cardstock. And I am doing this on the front of that die cut piece. I'm going to turn that over, and I'm looking at the rectangle die cut piece on the long side, and I'm going to put the edge of the cardstock where that little cut mark is in the red cardstock, so that it is directly underneath the little cut mark in the card base. So you can see there's the cut mark, and then the edge of that yellow rectangle die cut is right underneath that cut mark. Okay. And then once I have it in place, I'm going to fold that rectangle piece up along that score. And then I'm going to glue the top rectangle piece, which would be the card front, onto the back side of that card. So notice I have the edge on the right side that has the score marks in it for the top piece, and then the bottom piece, the score marks on that red piece of cardstock is facing the left. So I'm going to put glue on the inside part of the large rectangle on the back side of that card front, and I'm going to line it up with the back side of the card. So just line it up and then press it down. I'm going to do the same thing on the left side of the card. So I'm just going to put glue along the large rectangle piece, and then I'm going to attach the front piece. So just line up those corners and attach it. And once it's attached, now you have your card base. So if you move the left and right side, open and close, or back and forth, you can see that that little yellow piece is going to pop out from the center. So this card, when it is folded, it does measure A1 in size, which is 3.5 inches by 5 inches. So now that the card base is complete, let's go ahead and decorate the front. So the die set also includes some rectangle layering dies. I use the largest rectangle die to die cut the striped pattern paper and the smaller one to die cut the yellow pattern paper, and I'm just layering those two together. I'm going to be bringing the bear in from the November card kit. This was one of the die cut pieces from the paper pad in the November kit. And I thought it would be cute to have him holding these hearts like they are balloons. So I'm going to put some glue dots to the back of the heart, and I'm going to attach a piece of red twine to the bottom. And then I'm going to add those heart-shaped balloons to the front of the card. The red and green heart I will attach flat to the card front, and then the smaller You Rock blue heart I will put some foam on the back just to have it pop up in front of the other two balloons. I'll go ahead and glue the bear down, and then I'm just going to take all of those strings and put them together and tie them in a knot, and then put it so that the knot is on the bear's hand. So I'm just going to take another glue dot and put it right underneath that knot in the twine and attach it to the hand on the bear. And then I'll just trim the twine at the bottom of the knot just to make it even, and then I will add that to the front of my card. I will use the smaller rectangular die in the set and die cut it with the heart drop-in piece. Notice that that die cut piece gives you all of those little hearts. You can actually use those to fill in for a shaker card, or if you wanted to use them just for decoration on your card, you can save those. So that heart panel that I just cut out will go on this open space on the card front. Now if you wanted to add a different color cardstock behind it, you can take the rectangle die and die cut another piece of cardstock in a different color, and then it would fit directly underneath that heart die cut piece. But I'm just going to add this heart piece directly to my card front and just have those red hearts showing through. And then next I'm going to take a piece of red cardstock, put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back because I am going to die cut the word love you. And then out of the shadow layer, I die cut the yellow cardstock, and I'm just going to add the words to the shadow, and then those words are going to go on that little pop-up piece on my interactive card. So I'm just putting a little bit of repositional tape using a tape runner on the back of those die cut pieces, and then putting them on this pop-up piece because I just want to make sure that before I permanently adhere them to the pop-up piece that they're in the right position so that when I close my card that they are not sticking up. So I'm just practicing here to make sure I have them where I want them, and then once I know that that's exactly where I want them and that the letters don't stick up when I close my card, I can go ahead and put some permanent glue on the back. So I'm just going to lift them up just a little bit here and add some permanent glue to hold those down really well. And to fill in a little bit of the space next to the word you, I'm just going to take one of the heart stickers and add it to it. And now when I close the card and open it, you can see the words love you pop right up on my interactive swiper card. If you're interested in seeing another video where I made 2 cards using a larger version of this die set, I'm going to link it up here at the top right hand corner of this video. For my next card, I'm going to make a shaker card. So I'm starting out with a piece of the blue pattern paper that I cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And for my shaker element, I'm going to die cut both of these hearts so that they're overlapping, but I'm only going to die cut one at a time. These hearts are from the heart dies from the Candy Hearts to Stamp. So you can see I die cut the first one, which is the larger one, and then after I die cut that one, I go ahead and lay my smaller heart over top of where I want it on the pattern paper and run that through my die cutting machine. And now I have a double heart outline for my shaker element. I'm going to take a piece of acetate and I'm going to put glue on the back of the pattern paper, and I'm going to go ahead and lay my acetate right over top. So that acetate will keep my shaker elements contained inside of the shaker window. I cut a card base that is a top folding card base out of the red cardstock, and I also cut a piece of white cardstock just so that it is large enough to fit underneath the heart shape, so that underneath that heart I have white cardstock rather than the red displaying underneath my heart shaker element. So I just put the white cardstock underneath the pattern paper to line it up, and then I went ahead and pressed it down to the card base. So it is glued down to the card base, and now I can go ahead and add some foam to the back of that panel. So I just cut some foam down to size, and I put a large piece of foam underneath the hearts, and then I'm going to put a smaller piece across the top of that pattern paper, and I am putting it on the back side of that card panel. I'm going to cut some smaller strips and put them on the sides, and I'm actually going to fill in all of the blue area of that pattern paper with some foam. I want to contain all of my shaker pieces all within the heart shape only. I do not want to have any of the shaker pieces dropping outside of where the hearts are. So that's why I'm just cutting the foam down to size. I'm putting it at a diagonal on some spots so that I can keep all of those shaker pieces contained within just the hearts. By doing it this way, it will also allow me to not have to use so many shaker pieces, because if I don't add these little small pieces of foam around the edge of the hearts, then what will happen is that when I have my shaker pieces inside, they will fall all the way to the bottom or all the way to the side of that card layer rather than just being contained within the hearts themselves. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm just going to finish this up by adding some foam all around this open heart shape. So now I've put all my foam around the hearts, so when I add my shaker pieces, they will all be contained just within that heart window and they won't fall to the side. I'm going to go ahead and add my shaker pieces directly to the top of the white cardstock. Now the shaker pieces that I'm using are from my stash and they're little pearls, so they're completely round, so they were kind of rolling a little bit off of that card layer. So once I get them all out of this bag, I'll just sweep them all up with my hands and get them all the way to the center of that white cardstock. Next, I'll remove the backing from all of that foam tape. And then I will add that layer directly to the top of my card base. I want these hearts to be red, so I'm going to take the heart dies from the die set, and I layered the shadow die with that top pattern die and die cut them out of the red cardstock, and that gave me this outline, which I applied glue to the back, and I'm adding it to the large heart. I'm going to add the centerpiece in there as well. So I'm going to put glue on the back of that and then add it right on top of the heart. So you'll be able to see all of the shaker pieces through all of the petals on those flowers. And I'll do the same thing with the smaller heart. So I add the outline and then the smaller layering piece. So now when I move it back and forth, you can see all of those little shaker pieces through the petals of the flowers. So now I have some more pattern paper. I have a blue flowered strip. That one is 4 1/8 by 1 1/8, and then the striped paper is 4 1/8 by 1/2, and I layered those together. And I'm also going to add this felt border. I'm going to put it where those two pieces of pattern paper meet, just to cover up that line. And then I'm going to trim this down to fit the width of the cardstock. So I'm just trimming the border down. And that's going to go at the bottom of my card panel. I die cut the word love out of some white cardstock. I'm going to put glue on the back of that, and I'm going to add it to the heart. And then I'll take another piece of the striped pattern paper. I'll cut that down to 4 1/8 by 3/8 inches, and I'm going to add that across the top of my card. I'm going to add a few silver gems from my stash. These gems are actually from a previous card kit. I don't know which one. And I'm just going to add a few at the top right and a few at the bottom left. And I'll also bring in a few red as well. So that's going to complete my second card. For my next card, I have the Sending You Love pattern paper that I cut to 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. I'm adding it towards the right side of my white card base, and then the red pattern paper I cut to 1 1/4 by 5 3/8, and I'm adding it towards the left side of my card base. And then I have all of these conversation hearts, and I'm just going to add them right down the line where those pattern papers meet, just to cover that line up. So I have a few of the larger ones and just a few of the smaller ones, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. So starting from the top, I'll go ahead and add glue to the back and add those to my card. I'm going to take some of the silver gems from my stash and add a few to the card front. And then that's going to complete this card. For my next card, I have a piece of green cardstock that I cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm adding that to the solid blue cardstock, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I have the Sending You Love pattern paper that I cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'll add that right to the top. And then I also have the strip of blue pattern paper, which is just the opposite side of the Sending You Love paper, and I cut that to 5 1/4 by 2, and that's going straight across the middle of the card. Next, I'm going to use the solid pink paper from the pattern paper pad, and I'm going to die cut my hearts, so with the shadow and then the center die. So I'll add some tape to that, run that through the die cut machine, and then I'll use the shadow die and die cut a piece of white cardstock. So that's going to go behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and add this outline heart piece to the solid white shadow die cut piece, and then I'll glue in the pink piece with the flowers on it. After I make one of these hearts, I'm going to repeat that process 2 more times so that I have a total of 3 hearts. So I'll have 3 hearts going across that center blue strip on my card. So I'll go ahead and glue those down. I'll add one to the left side and one to the right side, and then I'll add one overlapping in the center. I'm going to use the green felt border sticker and add that across the bottom. So just where that blue pattern paper meets with the Sending You Love paper. So I'll add that to the card front, and then I'm going to take some of these silver gems from my stash and just put them over the circle parts on the flower design on top of each one of those hearts. Next, I'm going to add that to an A2 size white card base. And then after I had my card all put together here, I decided I wanted to go ahead and add a sentiment. I wasn't going to add a sentiment because the Sending You Love on the pattern paper I thought would be enough, but I thought it would be cute if I just stamped out the Forever in My sentiment stamp from the Candy Hearts to stamp set. I stamped it onto a banner die from my stash, and I'm going to go ahead and put some foam on the back and then pop it here up on my card. This banner die that I used is from the Spellbinders December Small Die of the Month Club, and that sentiment fit perfectly inside. For my next card, I have a piece of the green pattern paper. I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm adding it to my white A2 size card base. I also have a scallop rectangle die. This is a die from Pretty Pink Posh, and I die cut it twice, once out of this pink pattern paper and then once out of just white cardstock. So I'm going to take the inside piece from the pink pattern paper, and I'll set the scallop border from the pink pattern paper aside for a different card. And then I'm going to take the white scallop border from the white cardstock that I die cut, and I'm going to add that to the center of my card front. Now I'll glue in the background piece, which is from the pink flower pattern paper, and that'll fit perfectly inside. And then I'm going to take 3 of the candy heart cutouts from the paper pad and add them to the inside of that scalloped rectangle. I also die cut 6 of the small hearts using the pink paper from the pattern paper pad, and the die that I used is one of the dies from the Candy Heart to Stamp die set. And I'm just going to glue those hearts to my card, so I'll add 3 in the bottom right and 3 in the top right. And then that's going to complete this card. For my next card, I cut the heart pattern paper down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I added the pink heart paper to the center. That pink heart paper measures 4 by 2 3/4, and then I'm going to add that entire layer to a piece of solid blue cardstock that I cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then I'm going to use the Heart Puffy stickers from the card kit and add a few to the card front. So one says "Too Sweet" and one says "Hug Me." And then I die cut the words "Love You," and I have the shadow in white cardstock and the words in blue cardstock, and I'm going to add those to the front of my card. Next, I'm going to take another Heart Puffy sticker, but this time one that's a little bit smaller, and add another one to the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that to an A2 size white card base. And that will complete this card. For my next card, I have an envelope die from Scrapbookcom that I die cut out of this pattern paper. I'm just folding it along the score lines, and then I'm going to use some glue and glue the back together. Once the large flaps on the sides are glued down, I'm going to put glue on the small round flap and fold that up. Now, if you wanted to put something inside and fold the top flap down, you can, and you can glue that down or add some washi tape to close it, but I'm going to leave mine open. Now, I will have a link to this die as well as all additional products that I use down in the description box below. So if you're interested in checking them out, check the description box of this YouTube video, and they'll also be on my blog. Next, I'm using one of the rectangular postage edge dies from Spellbinders, and I die cut a piece of the red pattern paper. I added the pattern paper to a piece of the solid blue cardstock that measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And next I'm taking the ribbon that came in the card kit. I'm just adding some of the tape runner to one side of it so that I can add it or adhere it to the envelope, and I'm adhering it to the back side of the envelope, the part that I actually glued shut. So I'm just going to trim the ribbon to size and then just fold the short ends around the front of the envelope. Next, I took the heart dies from the Candy Hearts to Stamp, die cut some of the pink pattern paper, and I also have a solid back, and the solid back is from the blue, it's a light blue pattern paper. So I have a little bit of a pattern showing through that floral print on the front of the heart. I'm going to add my heart to my envelope. And I also die cut the Sending Love word die out of white cardstock and red cardstock, and I'm adding it there to the top of my card. I have not adhered my envelope yet, just wanted to make sure I had enough room for everything that I wanted to include on the card before I add the envelope. So I went ahead and added the word die, and now I add glue to the back side of the envelope, and I'll adhere it to my card front. And then I'm going to stick some of these conversation heart die cut pieces into my envelope, so it's going to look like they are pouring out of the envelope. So I'll go ahead and arrange those, and then once I have them where I want them, I'll add some glue to the back and adhere them down. I'm going to add a few of the small heart puffy stickers just to fill in some of the empty spaces around those candy hearts. And then I tied the ribbon in a bow and then added it with a glue dot onto the envelope. I'll add that entire layer to my A2 size white card base, and that's going to complete this card. I just love this card. I think it might be my favorite in all of the ones that I made. So for my next card, I have a piece of green pattern paper that I cut to 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then I have a piece of the pink pattern paper that I cut to 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'll add those to my A2 size card base, and then I'm going to add the light pink felt scallop border to my card front. So I'll just add it right over top of where those two pieces of pattern paper meet. And then I have some circle dies. One is a stitched circle die that I die cut out of some green cardstock, and then the smaller one is just a solid white circle die that I cut out of the white cardstock. I just layered those together and then die cut the Sending Love out of the pink paper from the paper pad, and I'm going to add that to the center of the circle. To finish this card up, I'm going to add a few of the heart epoxy stickers to the front of the card. And that's going to complete this card. For my next card, I'm going to use the Candy Heart to stamp set, and I'm going to make a background on this white cardstock. So I cut my white cardstock to 4 inches by 3 inches, and I'm going to use various color inks to stamp down the solid heart. So if you remember when I showed you this stamp set, it has the outline which you can stamp in a color, and it has a white center that you can color the outline in, but I'm using the solid shapes where I can just use my ink pad to ink them up with a color, and then I don't have to worry about coloring them in with markers. So I'm using the same stamp here in various positions on this cardstock, and I'm stamping it up with several different colors. So between each application, I'm making sure I clean off my stamp because I don't want to transfer color to the next color that I use. So after I stamp it down with the pixie ink, I'm going to clean it off, and then I'm going to ink it up with another color and continue in that process until that entire background has stamped hearts on it. Now this stamp set has several different size hearts. There's some miniature size hearts, there's a small heart, a medium size heart, and a larger heart. So I'm using the third size up, and it also has some different patterns. So if you wanted to add a pattern to it, you can do that, but I'm not going to use the patterns, but you can see what they look like. And then all of the words that are on there, there are so many different words that you can add to these heart images, and I'm going to use one color ink for all of my images. I'm using the guava ink, which is a darker pink, and it will show up really nicely on all of these hearts. So some of the words that are on the stamp set would be hello, baby, smile, LOL, happy, love, you rock, cutie pie, too cute, dream big, text me, be mine, thank you, you are cute, love you, call me, miss you, you and me, be sweet, and then there's a few others. So lots and lots to choose from, and these totally remind me of the Conversation Hearts candy that you get on Valentine's Day. So I went ahead and finished, and here is what the completed background looks like. So now I'm going to use that scallop rectangle border that I die cut out of that pink pattern paper on a previous card. So remember, I had die cut this previously and I set it aside, so I don't want to waste it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it around the edge of this paper. So next I'm taking this blue pattern paper that I cut to 5 1/4 by 4, and I added it to pink paper, which is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And now I'm just positioning the card layer as well as the sentiment to see where I want to glue everything down. And notice that I also have a piece of ribbon that is going to be tucked behind that rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of tape on the back of the right end of that ribbon, and I'm going to tuck it around the back of my card layer, and then I'm going to take the opposite end, put a piece of double-sided tape and peel off the back, and I'm going to wrap it around the other end. And then I'm going to add the words love you that I die cut out of pink cardstock, and I'm going to add them to the bottom right hand corner of my card. And then once I have those words adhered, I'll add the scalloped rectangle. I didn't adhere the rectangle quite yet because I wanted to make sure that I didn't adhere it too low, because if I did put it too low, I wouldn't have room to put the words love you. So that's why I added the words first and then added the rectangle second. So I'm adding the rectangle now, and next I'm going to add that to my A2 size card base. And this card is now complete. So moving on to my next card, I have my heart die cut from the dies. I die cut the background out of some light blue cardstock, and then I'm just adding the red layers to the top. I cut a piece of white cardstock that measures 2 5/8 by 4, and I'm adding it to my Misti. I am going to stamp at the top of the white cardstock, so I'm just positioning the stamp and the heart where I want it, and then I will remove that die cut heart and then just stamp out the sentiment. So the sentiment says forever in my, and then I'm going to add the heart to the front. So I'll glue the heart right on that white cardstock. And then I'll glue the white cardstock to the blue pattern paper, and the blue pattern paper I cut to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Next, I have the striped pattern paper I cut to 3 3/4 by 1, and I'm going to add it across the bottom. And then I'll add that to a piece of red pattern paper that measures 4 1/4 by 5 3/8. I tied a ribbon around the striped part of that card layer and tied it in a bow, and I will be adding a glue dot behind the knot in that bow just to secure it to that card layer. Next, I'll add this to an A2 size card base, and then I'll add a few of the larger gems that are included in the kit, and I added the green ones. So that's going to complete this card, and that will complete all 10 cards that I made with the Stamps of Life December card kit. I would love to hear which card is your favorite, so leave me a comment down below. And if you're interested in joining any of the Stamps of Life clubs, remember I will have links down below. Be sure you use my promo code Lisa Mears so that you earn your bonus club points. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications to receive more card making inspiration from me. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.